Good morning. Welcome to Meditation Lesson 3, Video 4. I'm very excited. Today is a full moon day. So although right now I might have the hairstyle of Gaius Julius Caesar, by tomorrow I'll have the hairstyle of Jean-Luc Picard. But without all that class. It's fun. The practice of shaving one's head only once a month gives one a 28-day experience of impermanence, because you get to see a 28-day transformation from cue ball to a Roman legionnaire, so kind of tantamount to being a human chip. I know some Theravada monks who only would shave once a month, so they would get the same thing, so they could have a visceral experience of impermanence and the relentlessness of change every month. The reason I mention this is in my next video, when I look like Jean-Luc Picard, some people just get so distracted by that they don't listen to the message. So by giving you a heads up, hopefully there'll be a minimum of distraction. Let's continue. Now, this is lesson 3 in a 52 lesson series. Each lesson is a set of videos. So more than 50 videos have come and gone since the first lesson. All these lessons are commentaries to various practice texts and various links, and with different emphasis to aid in one's training. Ideally, one could receive all 52 lessons in the span of a fortnight. That's right, 2 weeks, assuming one was on retreat and was receiving classes and meditating 4 times a day. If one was attending a live weekly online webinar, one could receive all 52 lessons in the span of 1 year. Learning through YouTube takes a bit longer, time measured in years as opposed to months or days. Now, the only way this is going to make any sense is if you're looking at the practice text that I'm providing a commentary for. Don't worry, you can get your hands on that practice text for free. So here's what you want to do. Below this video, there should be a bunch of links. If you don't see those links, there's an easy fix. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there should be a little YouTube icon. Give that a click or two. That'll take you to YouTube's dedicated page for this video. About an inch below your video image, there will be a button that reads Show More. Well, give that button a click. It'll reveal a list of links and their descriptions the length of your arm. The first link is just to one of my Facebook pages, and you're welcome to join that. The second link is to a page on my website that lists all the videos for each lesson. If this is your first time watching my silly talking head, do yourself a favor, make the humble choice, and go back to Lesson 1, Video 1. That is where you want to start. The third link, you guessed it, takes you to the class materials page. The first 3 things on that page are absolutely free. There's a free essay, which I recommend everyone read. There's a free image very similar to this of the Buddha of Compassion. And of course, there's a link where you could download the latest free version, the latest free PDF for the first set of lesson texts. Do that now. Pause me. Do that now. I ain't going nowhere. Good. You're back. Let's dig in. Please join me on page 66. It's like that wonderful jazz song, Get Your Kicks on Route 66. Okay. Now, if the numbering is a bit wonky in your version, piece of cake, all you got to do is look at the heading. The heading should read Prayer of Compassion. If page 66 doesn't say that or read that, then look around before or after it until you find it. Now, this is the fourth lesson on this page. I'm going to begin by chanting it for you. May everyone be happy, may everyone be free from misery. May no one ever be separated from their happiness. May everyone have balance, free from greed, hatred, and confusion. That all beings may benefit Omani ben Mehum. Now, I'll recite it for you. May everyone be happy, may everyone be free from misery. May no one ever be separated from their happiness. May everyone have balance, free from greed, hatred, and confusion. That all beings may benefit Omani Padme Hum. Yesterday, we discussed the duality that is explored in Buddhism, just as Taoism has the duality of yin-yang. Buddhism has the duality of the ultimate and the conventional. We've already discussed love, compassion, sympathetic joy. Now we're discussing equanimity. Yesterday, we discussed ultimate equanimity, which uses the wisdom teachings to let go of avarice and aversion and all points in between, like arrogance and adversarialness, also known as pride and jealousy, which are, of course, two manifestations of confusion. Now we're going to talk about conventional equanimity. So, ultimate equanimity, personal equanimity is, hey, I want to be freed from the tyranny of greed and hatred and confusion. Conventional equanimity says, yeah, that's a good thing, so I also wish it for everyone. And that's huge. Let's pretend that we could divide all living beings into three categories. Let's pretend we have people we like, the people we don't like or who don't like us, and the people we feel neutral about. Some teachers refer to those three categories as friends, enemies, and strangers. And samsara would teach us that, listen, you love your friends, you hate your enemies, you're indifferent to strangers. Don't give a flying fuck about strangers. Buddha said no. Here's the key to a happy life. Here's the key to a peaceful life. Here's the key to a meaningful life. Number one, love your friends. No duh. Number two, this is radical. Also love your enemies. Really? Number three, even love strangers. Now here's the rub. The number of people we love, if it's added to the number of people we hate, is still inconsequential compared to the huge number of people who are strangers to us. And we're told that if we want to be happy, if we want to be peaceful, it's in our best interest to cultivate love for each of those three groups. Now, as I've told you many times, every endeavor, be it spiritual, scientific, social, recreational, every endeavor can be divided into two groups, enthusiasts and non-enthusiasts, and all the enthusiasts can be divided into two other groups, the majority that are fundamentalists, the minority that are liberal. The Buddhist fundamentalists try to justify this with logic, and they say, well, yes, we each have had innumerable lives. Just because someone is a friend in this life doesn't mean they won't be an enemy in the next life or a stranger in the life after that. Therefore, to stop loving someone just because they're wearing a different hat or playing a different role is ridiculous. They will also go on to say that Just as every day the sun is in a different position in the sky on a different hour, and on a different day of the month the moon is in a different phase. Likewise, as we go through life, we play different roles. In 1 year we might be someone's enemy, the next year we might be someone's friend, the next year we might be a complete stranger to that person. So in view of the apparent randomness of impermanence, anything other than equanimity would be absurd. And this is Jim Dandy, but here's the rub. What fundamentalists sometimes forget is the rational emotive approach to psychology doesn't work. Our emotional brain is not wired to listen to our logical brain. We can't talk ourselves into love. But we can talk ourselves into adjusting our will. And our will can affect our behavior, our body, and consequently, our emotions. As a liberal, now, here, let me just back off for a second. Let me give you some insight about being a Buddhist liberal. I began my journey, my religious trek, my spiritual trek, as a fear-oriented fundamentalist. I was a Jewish fundamentalist, then I was a Christian fundamentalist, then I was a Hindu fundamentalist, then I was a Buddhist fundamentalist. I was also a Taoist fundamentalist, then I was a Buddhist fundamentalist. And it took years of spiritual practice for me to recognize the prison of my fear and the prison of the rigidity that was preventing me from growing the way I wanted to. And so, through the loving kindness of my teachers, both corporeal and non-corporeal, I evolved into a Buddhist liberal. So when I speak of Buddhist fundamentalism, I speak from experience. Politically, I would call myself a progressive. I'm more loyal to ideals than I am to one party or another. And I'll vote for whatever supports the ideals. Now, politically, it's the same way. I wasn't raised to be liberal. I was raised to be conservative. I was raised to be Republican. And, my family voted for Nixon. My family voted for Reagan. In fact, if I remember correctly, I also voted for Reagan. Me and my family voted for Bush Sr. And the journey to me becoming a political progressive or a liberal was a long, circuitous path. The benefit of evolving from conservative to progressive, or from fundamentalist to liberal, is that it helps you to understand both sides of the same coin. So when I give you the fundamentalist perspective in Buddhism, it's not my intention to mock them. It's my intention to give you some perspective, because really, the majority of Buddhist commentary has been written from the fundamentalist perspective. The majority of Buddhists, bless their hearts, are fundamentalists. If we don't understand them, we won't be able to benefit them, and we won't be able to learn from their errors. If we cannot learn from their errors, we will repeat them. And I'm just too lazy to suffer needlessly. How about you? So the fundamentalists have all these logical contemplations about the practicality of Mahayana, or compassionate equanimity. As liberals, let's be pragmatic. The British used to say, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. Jesus is rumored to have said, you'll know a tree by its fruit. Buddha is said to have taught, the test of a teacher is the efficacy of applying his teachings. So, how do we know that equanimity works? By playing with it. Who here has fallen in love? Who here has had a crush, had that crush returned, smooched, and fallen head over heels into the bottomless abyss of infatuation? Everyone has. Oh, what fun. It's a natural opiate. And remember those first few days when you fell in love, how all the colors seemed brighter, and you just spontaneously experienced goodwill for everyone. Friends, enemies, strangers. You wanted to give everyone a hug and a kiss. When we look at that, and if we've never experienced that, which is doubtful, we can look at music. We can listen to music. We can look at movies. We can look at TV. That's a consistently observed phenomena. That someone in the thrall of love is going to feel goodwill towards everyone. And that's really important. Love does not discriminate. Love is not some ray moving in one direction. Love is like an orb expanding in all directions simultaneously, like a sphere of light encompassing the whole universe. Or to put it another way, if you are a sci-fi geek and you're fond of astrophysics, consider the Big Bang. All the matter of the universe condensed into one point, and then bursting forth from one point in all directions to form that which we would come to call the universe, or the cosmos. Likewise, that same idea of, or consider a dandelion. Overnight, a dandelion can sprout from a little teeny flower. And it sprouts in all directions. It's a wonderful metaphor for both omnidirectionalism, the nature of the universe, and love. So the nature of love is to move in all directions at the same time. And that's what we're embracing here. We're embracing the idea that rather than using our fear and our aggression and our rigidity to constrict and bind and confine love into a narrow beam, we let it blossom spontaneously in all directions. No, love in this sense, sometimes love is emotional and spontaneous, and that's fun, but not always. Love can simply be the intention to lavish everyone with every good thing, to long for everyone to have every good thing, for long to everyone to receive the causes of good things, and also compassion, to long to free everyone from all sufferings, to long to free everyone from the from the causes of all sufferings. So here's the deal. In a vacuumless void, freed from any gravitational influences, when a light is turned on, its rays would emit in all directions. That is natural. It's easiest, from a lazy point of view, it's easiest to let one's love bloom in all directions. Hate takes effort. Fear takes effort. Indifference takes effort. Favoritism takes effort. To choose to love all beings equally, to choose to have compassion for all beings equally, is spontaneous. And then you could say, wait, that's not what I've experienced, Lama Jigme. I've experienced the opposite. Wait, I know that for me, playing favoritisms is spontaneous. Well, the late teacher of the 14th Dalai Lama, the teacher's name was Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, was fond of saying That's because we feel that we own those we love. We own our friends. We own our enemies. And that sense of grasping influences our love. It influences our emotions. It influences our attitudes towards them. But it has been written in many Buddhist scriptures that the key to happiness and the key to peace is to shed the tyranny of our grasping, of our greed. Everyone here has fallen in love. Everyone knows what jealousy feels like. It's a horrible feeling. It's rooted in fear and in pride and in greed. The antidote is to let go of that greed and that fear and that pride. Easier said than done. That's why you've learned the techniques that I've taught you in the first 2 lessons, the first 2 sets or collections of videos. What's that? You say at this moment you don't feel greed, you don't feel fear, you don't feel pride? Don't worry, you will. It's inevitable. Just as in every spring we see green leaves appear, and in every autumn we see orange leaves fall. Just as the behaviors of spring and autumn are inevitable, yet dynamic. Likewise, the manifestation of those painful emotions of greed and pride and fear will happen. When they do, please don't flog yourself. Just apply the techniques you've already been taught. And as many Tibetan teachers say, you'll be able to unwind in the natural, infinite expanse of timeless awareness. What a picture that paints. Timeless awareness. That means present moment. Infinite expanse. That means you don't feel confined in a little cocoon of our own limitations. It feels like we can breathe physically, aurically, intellectually, emotionally. What's that? You say you want to be a creative genius? Free yourself from the shackles, the emotional shackles and the intellectual shackles. And you will be capable of great innovation. Some will be dismal failures. Some will be exquisite successes. But if we are truly free from fear and greed and pride, we'll be okay with that. In a nutshell, what is the essence of conventional equanimity? Choosing and intending and that our love and our compassion be for all beings. Those we love, those who love us, those who hate us, those who don't know us, those poor fools, boy, are they missing out. And for those, even for those who have things that we want but have not yet received, may they be happy as well. Last year I wrote a book. One of my senior students is searching for a literary agent. Meanwhile, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, an agent reached out to him and asked him to write a book. And so that guy is in a better circumstance. He's received more good fortune than me. I'm not going to lie, my first year I was like, But equanimity teaches us to look at people, even those who would dare to receive that which we have not yet received, and wish them well. And they receive every good thing, always. And can you see how these positive emotions are going off in every direction? That's what we intend. In the exercise to follow, in the lesson, in the videos to follow in this lesson, we're going to learn 4 contemplations to make that a reality. In the advanced contemplations to be taught in future lessons, you'll learn even more techniques. So don't worry. I'm not lifting the bar high and say, here's an impossible task. Fend for yourselves. Nope, I'm not that cruel. I'm saying, here's a worthy task, and I'm going to baby step you so you can do it. Remember, what's the difference? There are 3 types of people. Boobs, bodhisattvas, and Buddhas. We've all been boobs. We've all been slaves to our impulses. We've all been slaves to our sufferings. We've all been slaves to the causes of our sufferings. A bodhisattva says, that really sucks. I don't want to be a slave to my sufferings and their causes. I don't want to be a slave to my impulses. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to learn Buddhist techniques, and I'm going to apply them. Then what? What is a Buddha? A Buddha is simply a bodhisattva who's gotten so good at applying Buddha's mental yogas of devotion, awareness, love, and letting go. He's mastered them to such a degree that he's now able to practice them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. In future videos, you will learn the basic 8 techniques to do just this. I thank you for your time and your kind attention. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. Before you go, allow me to remind you to find the like button, give that bad boy a click, and then click the social media buttons. I want you to find the subscribe button, give that bad boy a click. When you make your way to the YouTube homepage, in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll find a tab that says Manage Subscriptions. Give that a click. Look up Lama Jigme or Lama Jigme Gyatso. YouTube's kind of funny that way. And to the right, you'll see a box. Give that a click. And that way, you'll receive an email notification every time I upload a video. That's the best way to keep current with my teachings. And of course, in the links below, you'll find one link that will take you to the registration page for the next set of weekly webinars. When do they begin? January 7th. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.